Hello and welcome everyone to another episode. Yes, I'm back. I'm back. I am back. I have been a little unprepared and I have not been in the best of anything to do episodes these last 6 or 7 days. I'm sure everyone's wondering what revelation has happened or what have you, but it was nothing too serious. I ended up getting a little sick and I really couldn't record. I just was not in the mood to do very much, and I am now back 100%. And yeah, a few bad things happened and a few kind of good things. One of them being I hope you guys all enjoyed your Thanksgiving. I surely did, even though I was sick. I was not in the best place. I mean, I could barely eat anything as it was, but probably had the juiciest turkey, compliments of le girlfriend. But yeah, it was pretty amazing. That's all I can say. I had a good time. I ended up basically spending Thanksgiving with my girlfriend's parents, and my girlfriend and her family. My family was all in Michigan. I could not go this year. That was kind of a downer, but it wasn't that bad. Then, among other things, I mean, I just basically kind of hung out, and I got a bunch of leftovers, even though I really despise eating leftovers, even though they were actually pretty tasty. I do admit, they were tasty. So, yeah, that being said and everything, me being sick, the bad news. I did muster up the courage at one point to record a Thanksgiving episode, which was going to be kind of like a really amazing thing and everything else, and it didn't turn out so well. There was some kind of problem recording. So because of that problem, I couldn't do anything basically. I tried everything I could to fix it, and there really wasn't anything. Basically, it once again was one of my recordings where there was basically no audio. So I still have the footage. So if you guys want me to, the next Duna related activity that we are doing, I will throw it in there, but I just was unhappy with the amount of stuff that happened. Basically, I ended up landing on Ike with the connector solar panel combo that I had. Everything went pretty well. I was connecting everything up, and then I quick saved. This was just one of the events that led to. This is how much I put into the episode. I ended up landing, and I lost, or I didn't lose, but what ended up happening is I have debris set to 0, and for those of you who don't know, any object in the game that's, if you have anything that could be considered to be debris, it means not so good things if you kind of, quick save with stuff that you intend on using. It kind of goes bye-bye. So because of that, I lost basically the whole thing except for like one connector. Then I had the spare that I set up, and I used the spare, and I brought that all the way into orbit, landed it, everything. I did all the work on it, which I will show you guys a little bit after, or at least maybe in the next episode. I landed the second one, and everything worked out really well. I got everything connected. Everything was like perfect. And then I checked my video after the episode, which was shortly afterwards. I quick saved, so for those of you who don't who are like, oh, well, I still think you are lying or whatever. I quick saved and I basically lost everything. There was no way of salvaging any of it. There was no way of fixing the episode other than me recording over or doing audio post-commentary, whatever. I think, yeah, post-commentary. Just, I'm not good at that. I tried it once, and yeah, no. Just no. That's all I'm gonna say. So, I lost all of that on that mission, if you want to call it that. I lost all the footage, if you want to call it that. I mean, I still have the footage, which, once again, if you guys are willing and wanting to see it, I will upload it, but maybe I'll throw it in at the end of one of these episodes later on. But right now, I just kind of want to take a little bit of a break from the Duna stuff, and I want to work on the moon station, which has been coming along very nicely. I haven't really done much with it ever since the last episode with it. So I kind of wanted to add a little bit onto it, and we're going to do this launch. I think I said I was going to put one of these into orbit a while ago, or basically connect this up off camera, and I just never got around to it, so I figured I would do this for now. Ooh, that's not good. This is not connected. Alright, well, we'll keep burning, whatever. There should be a strut running all the way down right here, and I don't know where that went. It might have... Sometimes what happens in the VAB, which is really weird... Okay, let's see if the staging is alright. Yeah, it looks like it's good. There we go. Sometimes what happens in the VAB, just weird stuff where the struts get disconnected randomly and all kinds of things that you would not want to happen. So, but right now I think I want to switch my focus out again a little bit from the Duna stuff and kind of work on some bigger projects close to home. The one thing I will say is these bigger projects are really insanely taxing on myself. Mostly. It's not that hard, but there's certain things that, you know, when it comes to building these things, it really does become a big problem as far as how much work needs to be done and what you need to do with it, and the amount of time it takes and everything else really does sometimes raise conflicts with everything that you want to do and everything that you are doing. Stuff like the Jewel Explorer and stuff like that, even those were pretty insane. I mean, I like building big things, but there's a certain limit to the amount of things I like to build, and I think I want to kind of focus on building some different style moon stations and stuff like that, or not moon stations, like space stations, but we will set that as a target. It's been a while since I played too. If you guys can't tell, I mean, my voice is a little off, but no, I want to try out some different style moon bases, the ground bases, because I have a few ideas on things I want to do, but I'm not sure if that is going to work out fully. I don't know if basically certain things are going to work, because I kind of want to redesign it after Duna and everything else, and I want to figure out some new ways of doing things and trying things out, because it's not really that anything has failed or anything has... It just didn't pass my muster, or if whatever you want to call it. I just wasn't fully satisfied with it. So the main thing I want to try is moving things around and getting different things done, you know, as far as everything is concerned. I just really want to kind of recoup myself as well as recoup my videos and kind of get back on track again, because I kind of feel like a noob right now a little bit. There were a few times I was playing and I did some really stupid stuff, so Let's see. Alright. Bring this... Whoa. How close is that? Alright, I'll deal with that. That looks real nice. Ooh, bring that back. Oh my god. There we go. I don't even know why I'm trying to go into the fine detail of things. What is this? Oh, yes, that is the Moon Space Station. We're already, like, unbelievably close, so where is our node at? I've been just completely out of it, guys, so just, you know, I've been a little drugged up. Legal drugs, but, yeah, I really didn't expect for, you know, not to be releasing a video for almost... I don't even know, what was it, 5 days, 6 days, week almost? I really didn't expect that. You know, I just didn't... I tried to release my videos in a manner where I could have a few days leeway, but there just wasn't very much time for anything. So that is pretty much my fault for not having enough backlog, or whatever you want to call it, of videos and stuff like that. But let's see, is this, are we gonna meet up? Oh yeah, I'm looking at the wrong one here. There we go. Like I said, newbie mistakes. There we go. So let's see, 5 minutes, and we're not actually moving that fast compared to our target. I thought it was gonna be worse, but that's actually not that bad at all. So let's see, how far out are we? 2 minutes. I'll bring it down to like a minute. There we go. It's looking really good. So the one thing I think I got a few messages about, and I have been reading your messages, and I think I gotta let you guys know for sure. There's some comments I cannot respond to. It's not because of you, it's because of YouTube, okay? I want to make that 100% clear. If I haven't responded to you, sometimes I wait a day now or 2 days to respond back to a comment, because if I try to respond back like almost right after you leave the comment, YouTube doesn't like that. It tells me that I basically cannot respond to that comment in on any kind of way, shape, or form. So I don't want you to think that I don't like you or something like that. It is just YouTube. I can't do anything. A lot of people are freaking out over the comment system, and I can thoroughly agree with them for certain things, but YouTube is its own entity and its own thing, so whatever they want to do, we gotta deal with it. So that is basically my argument about the whole thing in a nutshell. I don't like what they do, but at the same time, sometimes I guess there was a reason. For everything, there's always a reason. So I'm not going to say that it is a good thing or a bad thing. That's what they wanted to do. So if that's what they wanted to do, then I can't really say anything about that. It's just about as much... I have just about as much control over it as you guys. So... But let's see. We're getting pretty close to the space station. I do have the plans of building another space station, and that one will be in orbit around Minmus, but I think I'm going to take a very, very different approach to this station. I think what we need to build is a kind of like, I guess I could consider it like a mega station or something along the lines of that. It seems like a better name for it. I do have the core kind of built, but I really don't know how everything's going to come together. So that is going to be the main thing about it, is I really just don't know how everything is going to come together. There we go. I can clearly remember I left these solar panels in for the main purpose of having to do all this stuff here. So I'm just going to go ahead and... Well, actually, I won't quick save just yet. I think we're pretty much good on that whole quick save front, at least for now. I'll flip this around, and we'll probably slow down with RCS. Whoa, actually, oh god. Flip back as quick as you can. Oh my god. There we go. I'll use the good old RCS to slow down. There we go. So turn off RCS because it's just spazzing out, and we'll just turn that on there. That's looking good. So let's see, I'll switch to the station. I'll put these solar panels in too. So I'm going to, let's see, I gotta dock it up right here. Let's see, I'll put this in. Now let's see how much of a noob I am with docking right now, since you know, it's been a little while since I've actually played. So let's see, we just gotta line this up a little bit. That's not the way I intended on going. There we go. Looking amazing. Now this thing, I don't know if it's even lined up with the sun or lined up with anything. It tends to not. These stations don't stay at all. Anything you basically put into orbit in this game really doesn't stay where you intend it to stay. And I think that just has to do with the game's physics or something, or, you know, just because it's not loaded in or whatever, it doesn't stay there in any kind of way. So whatever way you angle it towards the sun, it doesn't keep that angle. Ooh, and we can see the seam of the universe. Right there, you can see it. The seam of the universe. It's a beautiful thing. Oh my god. There we go. Now, I didn't want this thing too close to the moon, because I don't know if you guys watch Kurt J. Mack or anything like that. Everyone pretty much that plays this game watches Kurt, but he ended up building a station that was just a little too close to the moon. I don't know how far off the surface it actually was, but it was so close that you could see the rotation of the moon, and then not to mention you're in orbit, and basically it was like the most disastrous station as far as making you want to puke just by approaching the station in any kind of way. So I tried to avoid that a long time ago. Oh god, come on, come on. Now if I line it up with this booster here, I think that should be fine. Or not booster, but you guys know what I mean, the engine. There we go. So let's bring this down. Turn on RCS first. There we go. Now this thing isn't going to be 100% stable, so it is going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt to get this thing docked up, but I think we'll be okay. I think that's like my running slogan with this game, is just I think we'll be okay. Ooh, slow down, slow down. I think we're gonna bump the station a little bit. No, we're good. Perfect. So we'll just move right in there. Perfect. There we go. Yeah, it's a little unstable, and that's only because this part here has no RCS tanks on it or anything. I mean, RCS thrusters. So that is what, you know, with my building, I usually try to make everything look really good, and because of that, I don't put on RCS thrusters on the parts I plan on using for, you know, a space station or what have you. So that means most of the time my loads that I end up docking up aren't exactly stable in any kind of way. So you can even tell right now that this is a little off. So let's just undock this here real quick. There we go. And we'll just rotate it over a little bit, and that's all we gotta do. There we go. Looking good. And just turn on RCS. I am not... the one thing I will say is I am not this detail oriented, but I do enjoy it when things really come together and they look really amazing. Because half the time, I mean, I'm trying to really separate myself from my original builds and stuff like that, and not that I don't like them, but it's more of I just want to be able to put more attention to detail in my newer stations and stuff like that than what I did previously. So that I want things to look better and be more precise and just be overall amazing. So that is looking pretty freaking good. Now I did use a little bit of RCS fuel, so I usually don't refill these because of the fact that there's more weight on one side, and I like to kind of just let that run out. So it does help out with the docking a little bit. I'm surprised that it's not really like unbelievably off-center when you take off or anything like that, where it wants to lean to one side. So anyways, guys, I feel like I recapped a little bit of everything. I know this isn't going to be the most exciting episode, but I kind of wanted to just fill you guys in and let you know what's going on. Videos will continue like normal, and yeah. So since I didn't really do any videos last week, the featured person of the week will be the same person as last week, which is HOC Gaming. So if you guys haven't heard of him, which, I mean, who has heard of HOC Gaming? It's just like guy I've never even heard of before. So yeah, go ahead and check him out. I'm pretty sure everyone already has, but if you guys know somebody you want me to feature, or you want me to feature you, send me a message through YouTube or email, which my email is in the upper left-hand corner of the end of this video. So if you want to do that, go ahead. And yeah, so if you like what you see here, subscribe. There's always more to come. To all you new people, welcome. And yeah, I will see you next time.